Hello and welcome back to my channel. I can't believe August is almost over and it's time to review what happened. If you want to check out my previous video about planning August, feel free to do that here. I will link that now. But right now, let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing that I want to do when I'm doing a review is look at what me from a month ago thought I wanted to do with August. And in this case, I already know going into it that the month that I planned was not the month I ended up having because I ended up booking two more jobs for my freelance business that took away a lot of the chance to do what I wanted to here. So I know one of the important things for me as I review this month is to look at what my plan was, but then accept that my plan changed and see what happened instead. I ended up, getting two jobs for my freelance work. I thought I had a week off from a side job that I do kind of for fun, but it turns out I had to work basically a full-time job this last week doing that. And so really, I've had no time this month. But I do know going into August, my goal was to finish things. I really wanted to get ideas for Act Two and start working on getting to the finish line there. I wanted to remove I had 22 drafts in Medium, and some of them have been there for more than a year. I wanted to clean out my drafts folder by the end of the month, publishing the articles, removing them. I'm not going to write those after all. I wanted to finish the one paid project that I thought I had, finalize like this wiki that I created in Notion for that client. And just really focus on getting that totally out of the way and then moving on to ideally working on Notion templates, Spanish, my musical writing for Medium, and then finishing things creatively too. I had a cross stitch that I wanted to do because I bought those things. I had coloring, books to read, Olympics to watch, that kind of thing. I really wanted to focus on having a no spend month on things that aren't important, but not framing it that way. I wrote an article on Medium about that concept. I will link it in the description. When I think about a no spend month and frame it that way, it comes across as this idea of like deprivation of something that I'm not doing. It's about not spending, right? And not spending is not the way that I wanted to frame this. I still wanted to have a good month. I wanted to enjoy myself. So I wanted to frame it as finishing things, using what I already have, getting the enjoyment that I already bought for myself. I feel like that's something that we can sometimes forget about is like there's so much focus on the moment of spend. And then I've spent about a decade looking into minimalism and that sort of thing. And I got into this bad habit of also thinking about the moment of releasing something from my possession as a dopamine hit. Getting rid of things, removing them, throwing them out was the dopamine hit for me. I would rather use them. So that was kind of where my head was at going into this month. I ended up being on call. That never really came through. We had back to school month. Back to school started this week for my kids. I thought that I was going to be just substituting an extra time for a month, adding 3 hours to my schedule at the gym. I added more than 30 hours over the course of the month to my schedule at the gym, which was really helpful financially when that was what I was struggling with. But it was not the plan. In a bare minimum month, I did not care what got done. In a rockstar month, I wanted my kids to be ready for school early, get through half of my Medium drafts, finish editing for my client early, finalize it, duplicate it, begin work on a template for fantasy authors to world build. I want to pursue one or two template ideas a week, finish four, prepare them for sale, and then use my free time wisely. We just talked about this. Duolingo lessons, cross-stitching, time dedicated to reading and video games instead of the gods of the doom scroll. I'm so guilty of falling prey to the gods of the doom scroll. I want my free time not to be productive per se, but restorative. And I've learned that for my personal brain and habits, restorative free time is active in some way. It's movement and art and reading rather than consumption, which works better for some people than it does for me. So that was what I wanted. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more review and chart creation, and then we will come back. All right, I've added a new chart, and I wanted to show off these new chart features. They are a paid Notion feature once you have more than one, But honestly, I upgraded to a paid account so I could use these. So let's go ahead and take a look now at my Kanban board for my monthly task. These are the ones I haven't finished yet. Some of them I will do today. Obviously, I'm doing one of them right now, reviewing August. But so in my finished, I have this now separated by area. I talked in a previous video about how I had separated this by project, but those projects were really big. They were areas, it turns out. And I do think for me, it's useful to see these by the general group that they're in rather than an individual project. I might add something by project too. But so I did one day where I had a bunch of admin stuff that got done. I had wanted to spend a lot of time on Medium, but I actually only ended up writing a few articles. I think it's more articles than I've published on Medium all year, which is exciting. But 3 of them weren't actually part of my drafts when the month started. That's okay. It happens. I'd really wanted to work on Notion. I did a few, but this novel writing companion that I'm making, I'm super excited about. But this project is definitely suffering from creeping feature syndrome a little bit. I am finding all of these new things that I want to add. Charts came out. I wanted to add charts to it. I'm looking at ways to connect all the different databases, but I'm hoping to have that ready in a couple of weeks. Um, so instead of working on 1 or 2 a week, I have worked on 1 for the entire month, but it's coming along really beautifully and I'm excited about it. So yeah, I was going to have 4 days of really this category should have 4 things and it has 25 because I had training I had to do and then I was helping with an admin like behind the scenes maintenance stuff there, which was great. Finished this work and started a new one, and I worked on. I have some retainer work that's going to be a part of what I do. Um, I'm going to be doing a webinar, so I've started getting the ball rolling on that. This is the project I didn't think I had that, or I didn't have when the month started, that I've actually gotten really far into. I am doing a full developmental edit. What that is, just in case you're curious, I read a book that somebody's written, start to finish on my Kindle like it's real, while I take notes about places that I think we can improve or some opportunities that don't get taken advantage of, my favorite parts, all of those kinds of things. Then I write a draft of an edit letter, go through the whole text in a Word document to discuss the edit letter changes, and then finalize my edit letter, send it back. It's a like whole thing, a month-long process. And I finished reading the whole thing. I took my notes and I'm almost done with the edit letter. I'm hoping to finish that this afternoon. Then for school, I did a bunch of fun things, which is awesome. And I just realized that is where my assignment ended up. I need to move that. So now let's go ahead and look at some charts just to see what we're doing here. Honestly, I made this view to see where I'm potentially procrastinating, especially at the end of the month. You can see that I did every single gym task that I had to. I did every single task for this client that I had on my list. Everything here. I'm behind here. I'm behind here. And I'm behind on Medium. I'm behind on admin. These are the places that I'm not getting done what I wanted to. And that I think is useful data, especially if I get to the end of the month and I realize that I didn't actually complete the tasks that I assigned to myself in a specific area, then I must know that there's something that is sticking me there. And I might want to journal through that to figure out what it is that's blocking me from that project. Like what's going on in my head? What is making it feel so impossible to do that work? Right now, I feel like this is about as good as this month could have gone. And then this is by area. And I think this is a really good pie chart kind of way to show where my time went. As a freelancer who, depending on how you count, has like 3 or 4 different jobs, it's useful to me, I feel like, to know what ended up getting my time. And it looks like 26% of my time went to my part-time job and then 22% of my time to this other project and then my classwork, this project that I finished at the beginning of the month, writing Medium articles, admin stuff, just keeping my life running. So clearly this is not where I wanted Notion to be at 5% of my time, but that is where we're at. So that is how my month went. I am going to complete my favorite moments, wins, and challenges on my own. Anyway, that's kind of how my month went. I'm going to make a separate video to plan September so that we can go ahead and fill out the whole template in Notion with these charts I want to add to the template just so that it's all set up for me to be able to use. And I will come back in a new video that we will post at the beginning of next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this helpful, and let me know in the comments what kind of videos that you're looking to see from me. Do you want more like of the technicalities of Notion, a little bit more about planning and productivity? As I'm rebuilding my channel, I want to get a feel for what people are looking for. What are you hoping for from my channel? What can I teach you? What can I make you feel like you're not alone in? Anyway, yeah, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great weekend.